Are you logged in Obsidian's free subscription plan? Can't sync your nodes across your devices and you need to do it manually sometimes, or you just have been thought of getting the $5 per month subscription to just sync your nodes across your devices? And maybe you were wishing that there was a better way to do this. Well, I brought the better way. We are going to set up an Obsidian Sync server together. We're going to self-host it, and we're going to get it up, and we are going to see how our private and secure node syncing is going to work. And have I mentioned for free? So if this is something that you might be interested in, follow along. Welcome back to Code Voyage. My name is Iman. I'm here to journal my day and the software and technologies I experiment with. I'll try to find things practical. I like to do things by myself, so I'm a DIY kind of guy. And I would also like to teach this and tell you that DIY is not always a disaster. It could also work out. We need to follow some discipline and rules. But anyway, moving forward, so today we're going to self-host an Obsidian Sync server. I have prepared a couple of things for you, so I'm just going to show you the setup here. I have created a new vault, Code Voyage vault. There is only like one welcome file, which is by default in it, and then I created one note. I'm going to create another note as well. I've also brought up iPhone of mine. Now it seems to be working. Okay, all right, sounds good. So I created a vault on my iPhone as well, so they're both pretty fresh. And the one on my computer, I consider it as my server, or the ones that I've already have, and I want to sync it almost everywhere, because probably the where you gonna start this video is that you have a bunch of notes on your device which you want to save. Speaking of notes and one device, make sure you create a copy. So just go to the place that you have saved your vault. Mine is just in my documents. Just go there and copy paste that directory completely and just renamed it as a backup or something. So in case something went wrong, which I tried to prevent it, you can still get your backup back online and everything back to normal. So we need, I've also brought up the code, which we will dive in later on. I'm going to run it first and not go through it one line by line to just demo it. And then we can, in the second half of the video, basically go through it, see what's happening. And what else? So I've got the code, I've got this, yeah. And I've also brought up the GitHub repository, the open source software that VRTMRZ have brought for us. So basically, I'm using his code, and kudos to him. He has 5.9K stars on this GitHub repo, and it's amazing, honestly. Yeah, he has a good documentation, explained everything. It took me a while to configure it with my settings because I have Traefik installed as a reverse proxy, and it's listening to all the calls, and I have set up my domain. This is basically the third episode of the home server self-hosting DIY, my own kind of small cloud. So you can go through it, and we are basically going to set up a CouchDB as a database to sync everything there, and then there is a plugin that we're going to install. So you can go through it, and you can get this Docker up solely without the Traefik. But in this video, I'm going to explain, assuming you have already installed Traefik on your web server and it's up and running, you can connect it with connecting it with this, and how we can basically integrate this repository and this Docker container with Traefik. So if I go back again to my iPhone, all right, it's working. I'm going to the setting on top, and then I'm going to community plugin. I'm going to turn on the community plugin at the bottom. So here. All right, so had to restart my iPhone. Something was glitching, so we are back on track. I went to community browser. I can hit browse, and then now I can see a list of the community the community plugins that people have developed. I'm gonna search for self-hosted LiveSync, so the first one that comes on, and you can see that this is the same. It refers to the same repository by Tamoroz. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, but kudos to you. It has been downloaded 271,000 times, which is amazing. I'm going to install this, and then I'm not going to enable it now because we need to make sure our server is running. I'm also going to install it here. So again, community plugins, turn on community plugins, browse, and then self-hosted sync. It's the same one. I'm gonna install it. It's probably, yeah, I'm gonna not enable it for now. Moving on to the code, there's this cleanup. So if anything goes wrong, you can just run the cleanup so you start fresh. Before we go into that, we got this like Docker Compose file, and we got this install Obsidian. So one important note, don't run this bash script with sudo. There are certain part that needs a sudo privilege, and it will ask for your password to run those line of commands, and I'll go through all of it line by line. So don't worry about it. But there are some lines that necessarily don't want, and don't want the sudo at the beginning of the command. But if you run the whole script by sudo, everything will be run by sudo, and it's going to mess up our configuration. So this is so important. Just run it as it is. And I'm going to run this. It asks for my permission because some of the lines we need sudo there. And then it says running. We're going to wait a couple of times to make sure everything is getting set. Container is 100% running, configuring it now, and then the configuration went fine. And then initializing it. Make sure if the Traefik is getting the SSL TLS certificate, and then it prints out this thing for us, and it asks us if we want to follow along with the Docker logs. We can do that. I'm not sure if it's needed right now, so I'm going to say no. And if I just check here, there's this setup URI text has been created and 2 other directories. If I go here, I'll see a passphrase have been created and an Obsidian link. So I'm going to copy this Obsidian link. I'm going to come here to my Obsidian. I'm going to enable it. And I'm going to say, yes, I do have the setup URI. And I'm going to paste the setup URI here. And then it asks for the passphrase. And then passphrase is silent butterfly. I'm going to copy paste that here. And then importing configuration from the setup URI, yes. And then I'm going to choose here so this is the vault that I have nodes inside. And I want these nodes to be synced on other devices. So consider this will be the main nodes. And we will basically upload this on, we will put it on the database. And then the other devices who get connected using the same URI, they will fetch this. So I'm going to say this is an existing client. Merge the existing files, the local files that already have the nodes, with the server. So I'm going to choose that. It goes through. It says like 2 files have been done. Do we need the extra feature for now? No. And I actually don't know what extra features are, but feel free to go read on that. We don't need extra features for now. And now everything should be set. So I'm going to close this. And there's this thing came here, so it showed me that if it's being synced or not. I'm going to create another note. I'm going to call this note number 2. Oh, I cannot use hash here. So number 2, blah, 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 blah. Right? And then I can see it's being synced. It's showing things here and there. The note number 2.md file is being sent to the database. So now let's move to, all right, it's still working fine, amazing. I need a way to send those sendees over to my phone. So I'm gonna just use Telegram to send it to my phone. So in this part, it will be cut. I'm basically sending a message to myself. You can copy paste it in however you like it, and you just need to have this information so you can copy paste it in your phone. I'm gonna do that and be back with you. So I'm gonna copy this Obsidian link and then go to the Obsidian setting where I was. I will hit enable. It will ask me if you have the setup URI pretty similar to what happened in my PC. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to paste the Obsidian link, and it asks for the passphrase, and I'm going to go copy the passphrase from here. Copy a silent butterfly and hit OK. Importing configuration from the setup URI, yes. And I'm going to say this is a new client, sync everything from the remote servers. Since the computer was the server and everything, all the nodes have been synced with the database, I'm going to say this is the new client, get everything that's on the server here. I'm going to do that. It's getting connected. A couple of things are being done. Let's see. I'm going to disable the extra features. Like it asks if you want to enable it. I'm going to say no. The same as the other place. I'm gonna go to my vault. All right, now you can see that number 2 that we just created is there. Number 1 is there. The welcome is there, and this small part on top, the syncing widget on top is also there. So let's do something else. Let's add a note 3 and add things here. I need a couple of emojis as well. Oh, this is an image. All right, let's see what's happening. Let's see if it's working. Oh, okay, something untitled has been added. Note 3, some synchronization is being done. All right. Images are coming in. Note 3 is coming in. So you can see it was pretty smooth, right? It takes a couple of seconds for it to be done. Yeah, we are good to go. And that's basically self-hosting. So this is the end of the demo. And from this part of the video, I'm going to go through the code line by line so you know what you are running on your computer. This is so important because we don't want to run something by mistake on our computer and get our computer malicious or broke it in any way. So we need to know what's inside, and I highly encourage you, whenever you are using such a open source software that's GitHub, for example, make sure you go read the code, or at least browse through it to see what this code is going to do. All right, so let's see. We got the installation. I can go through the installation first. So I'm echoing down this environment. A bunch of things are just the report and printing out to see where I am. Here I'm going to get the environment variable here. And basically, I'm having a CouchDB username and password and CouchDB name, defining a database name, basically. And I'm going to use these in my code. I'm going to get all the environment. I'm going to export it. And if it wasn't being found, I'm just gonna exit out of this installation because this is pretty essential. We need to have it. I will create two directories, which you can see here. I'm going to change its permission. I'm going to change its owner, and I'm going to get the Docker Compose up. And we're going to see just in a second what the Docker Compose is. We are going to wait for 5 seconds, and then right after we are going to export our domain name. So I use like obsidian.codevoyage.com, and the port that's working on is 5984, and I'm gonna get the environment variable that I got, and I'm gonna create a new environment variable in my bash, and then I'm gonna use the CouchDB init bash script, which is on the GitHub repository I showed you earlier, and you can find all these links, by the way, in the description down below. I will put this one on a GitHub repository. I'll link it there. I'll link the VRTMRZ down there, so you can find him and go through the GitHub repository in the open source software. And we are going to fetch that bash script and pass it through the bash itself. So as you can see, I'm not running this bash script as a sudo. So this is a very important part, and that one just got me. When I was trying it and it was prototyping it, one time it was working and one time it wasn't working, and then I was going back and forth, and it took me a couple of days to get what is the problem. And I find out that this one needs to be run definitely by the user and should not be run by sudo. That's why I say don't run this installation file, the install.-obsidian.sh, as a sudo. The places that we need sudo, I put it there. Then I'm gonna change the host name, and I'm gonna basically remove the port at the end of it because we don't need it. Our Traefik is going to take care of it, and it's going to forward it to the port 5984. And I'm going to wait 10 more seconds for any SSL TLS certificate to be fetched from Traefik for it to work. And I believe, yeah, this one is HTTP and this one is HTTPS. So basically, we need to access the HTTPS version. And then here, I'm checking if Dino is installed or not. And if Dino was not installed, we are going to install Dino. Now that I'm thinking, because I had Dino installed, I did not went through this. I just wrote it down so that if someone don't have it, they should install it. I think they do need sudo for this. I think. Yeah. Then I'm going to get which Dino or where's the address of the Dino, and I'm going to make sure that Dino is defined. And I'm going to run that command, run the Dino, and run the generate setup URI .typescript. And the output is going to be basically this. So a passphrase and a link. And I'm going to pass it through this txt file so that we can see it later on. And I'm also going to print it out inside the installation process in the terminal so we can also see it there. And after all, I'm going to ask if you want to follow along with the Docker logs and see basically what's being logged and how server is being running. So it's up to you if you want to say yes or no, and that's about it. So that's the installation part. So let's go deeper one level to Docker Compose and see what Docker Compose has here. We got a version, we got a couple of volumes, which they are directory that we have created in the installation phase. We got a service called CouchDB. We are fetching the latest CouchDB. We will call this container name Obsidian LiveSync. We are using the end file, so we're making sure that the end file is sync. I'm going to define a couple of things. These two lines are probably duplicated and they are not necessary, so I'm going to try it out and probably update it. But just to be sure, I'm going to basically kind of redefine, or just making sure that the environment variables are there. And then I'm going to define the host name, and then I'm going to attach the volumes. So I'm going to say this directory that's there needs to be in the container at the route opt couchdb blah 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 blah, right? And then I need to expose these IPs. So when you expose it here, you need to make sure you also expose it in your router. So I went to my router, to the setting, and I go to port forwarding, and I made sure I defined this port there so that my router knows where to forward it. And it's going to forward it to my laptop, to my home server. And it's going to use the front end network. It's the same network my Traefik is on, and it's external network. And we got a bunch of labels and how Traefik is basically being integrated into this. So we are going to enable the Traefik. We are making sure that it knows which network to use, and we're going to define the host for the router of the Obsidian LiveSync server. And then we're going to say use web secure, which is the HTTPS. We're going to make sure the TLS is true. We're going to make sure that the SSL TLS certificate is getting fetched from the Cloudflare. So we are defining the certificate resolver. We're making sure the port is forwarded to 5984 when Obsidian codevoyage.com is called, or it's when Traefik receives a request to this host, it will forward it to this port. And we are defining a middleware. This was part of the configuration. Basically, I did not add this myself. This is part of the cores that needs to be added, and how this database and this service is going to work. So this is part of the documentation. I will not go through it deeper. This part is not needed, so I'll just get rid of it here so you don't get confused. And this is the part about the cores that I just copy pasted from the documentation. This is where it says what type of content is acceptable, and what kind of methods can we use. How are we getting authenticated, and what origins are allowed. So app, Obsidian MD, capacitor, and so on and so on. There's a max age for headers, and some configuration about the HTTP request headers that basically is being sent back and forth between different devices and the server. So, and that's about it. That is our Docker Compose. And this is being run inside the install Obsidian. And then we get the URI and the passphrase, and just we sync it with our client. And well, that's about it. We have a working Obsidian LiveSync. We went through it all, and now you can self-host your own Obsidian LiveSync. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you start working it out, play things around, and give me feedback. How was it? Did it work for you? Are you using it with Traefik, or are you using it standalone? Because in the documentation, you can also use it standalone. Not to take much of your time, please like, comment, subscribe. If any of your friends is using Obsidian and they are paying already, make sure you send this video, say you don't have to pay $5 a month. Although they are ensuring their security, we are kind of risking by self-hosting it. So there are certain risks we need to accept. But I'm willing to risk it. Let me know if you are as well. Thank you so much for watching this till here. And yeah, hope to see you again. Have a good one.